If you're looking for quality designs, look no further than Bradley Shaw Designs. Bradley Shaw Designs can design anything from wraps, banners, posters, promotional items, and more. Bradley Shaw Designs is the exclusive digital graphics partner of the Renegade Monster Truck Tour and Route 2 Motorsports. If you're looking for more information, please check out www.bradleyshawdesigns.com.
This isn't your typical motorsports podcast. You're listening to Crush This, a monster truck podcast presented by High Octane Coffee and J Concepts. A show where we take you inside the minds of your favorite drivers, past and present, of the monster truck industry. And now, your hosts, Brad Shaw and Dan Chichagash. Buckle in. The show starts now.
Welcome to a new edition of Crush This, a Monster Truck podcast presented by High Octane Coffee, J Concepts, Back Channel Productions, 6B Apparel, Marty Garza, JB Scale Graphics, and Bradley Shaw Designs. Want to also thank, once again, Joe Sylvester, the guys Jason and Fred from J Concepts, Nick Davis from Back Channel, 6B Apparel, Chris, awesome job. Our crew shirts are still on sale for $100. So you get the new wave, which is kind of like this, that right there, crew shirt. And then we have the OG too, which is this one right here. But that's the crew shirt right there. It's for sale. We have a bunch of people getting it. It's awesome to do. Get it. Got it good. Bradley Shaw, we just saw the video. He does the Renegade Monster Truck Tour. They're coming back next year. So that's cool. Look out for that. Marty Garza's Monster Truck Technology book. A book that I am looking forward to get. A good Christmas gift. Go ahead and check that out. Pretty cool stuff. JB Scale Graphics. Officially licensed of Bigfoot. Also Obsessed Wear. Not Obsessed Wear. Sorry. Obsession. Obsessed. Against the Grain. And Bad Habit, and man, I'm screwing up here, and others. And also, one more thing with J Concepts, congratulations on the license deal with USA One. They just debuted that early this week. That's some pretty cool. That's pretty cool to watch. Also, just been doing pretty good. Brad's on a little bit of a emergency going on, so please put Brad on his prayers and everything like that, guys. Take a look for that. But filling in for Brad is none other than our correspondent in the monster truck world. That's Mr. We're bringing back Mr. Kurt Kramer.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, not much.
It's everybody's favorite guest host from the East Coast of Illinois, Kurt Kramer. That's right.
That's right. Ba-ba-ba-bang. How you been, Kurt? I know I saw you early this year, but you've been pretty busy the last few weeks, especially during this COVID situation.
Yeah, we're fortunate enough. Rich and I just completed a Texas tour here a couple weeks ago, a whole week in Texas. It was 4 car crushes in 7 days and 2 days at each dealer, so that was kind of cool. And then we had a deal, you and I did, Black Friday deal in Massachusetts, and that had its own ups and downs, but that was pretty cool. That was with our picture truck, and I just completed a picture truck deal in West Virginia. So, yeah, we've been kind of busy, and now we've kind of switched to maintenance in the shop. So, a lot of semi stuff getting done, trailer stuff. So,
And last couple weeks also, you were actually for the last month you were doing the biker build off from Orange County Choppers. We know with other things that you didn't make it to the next round, but we didn't. We can't say that we weren't battling for it.
Yeah, no, I want to thank everybody for their support, and especially Crush This, who's done a good job of supporting the efforts to get the votes in, and we tried a last ditch effort to get into the group winner round. We didn't quite get there. We were told we came in second, so we did what we did, and that's fine. Like I said, I might make my own, but I'm back to focusing on Agent Orange and just picked up a front axle for it. So I'm gonna order some tires and wheels and get it back going. So some cool things.
And not gonna lie, that front axle that you just picked up was from a pretty cool guy around the neck of the woods. It's pretty cool to hear about that. But there's now a story to tell, Kurt, about that front end of Agent Orange. So if anyone doesn't know what Agent Orange is a 1977 Dodge Power Wagon that Kurt's basically found and internally built from the ground up. Let's just say internally, basically. Motor, transmission, drive shafts, everything that you have done, you put your hands on, and also made a pretty cool bumper. I mean, if anything, Kurt, send some pictures over. We'll put on the page and whatnot, and show it. But and now we got the axles and stuff like that done. So if you ever have a chance, go ahead and it's a pretty cool project. But
yeah, I'm excited for it. You know, I keep, now it's kind of cool. You start getting into the kind of the cool thing, tires and wheels and paint and stuff. And I'm starting to see, I want to see the finished product as everybody else does. You know, it's been a long time coming. And I'm not going to lie, I want to get on to the next projects and stuff too, but there's plenty of work to do yet. But yeah, it's going to be a cool truck to bomb around in, no matter what we end up doing. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So,
we have our first comment of the day, and it's for you, Kurt. It's from Jeremy Dishman. He said, "For the love of God, put a hat on."
Yeah, no. Thanks, Jeremy. I figured I wouldn't be surprised that comment came from you. So yeah, at least he's paying attention. At least he's watching. So
right. So let's get on with our guest here. This guy, actually, a cool story. He was one of the first people I've ever met online on the virtual monster truck world. It was pretty cool to talk to him when I was a fan. I'm not gonna lie, and I want to learn about the industry and stuff like that. And he was kind of the first one to explain to me about it. He started out early on in his career when I was talking to him, but he raced for Alan Pizzo. He was popular in the truck called Prowler, but he did a lot of stuff within the teams, like Drive the Ride truck, and also drove Predator and Pouncer and stuff like that. But the flagship truck for him was Prowler. He drove all over. He was on Monster Jam. He was also, I think he was in part of the one of the last shows of the Silverdome, and he's still a member of he also support the Monster Truck Hall of Fame, and he also still rocks that Dodge. So that Ram truck, Kurt. But
there you go.
We'll go ahead and bring him in, and that's Mr. Lenny Kuilder. How you doing, Lenny?
Good. How you doing, Dan?
Oh, I'm doing good myself, and Kurt's here with me too. So
going
on? Sorry about that. I was about to choke myself. Sorry about that, Lenny and Kurt. So let's go from the start. And were you always a fan, or how did you get yourself into the world of monster trucks?
Yeah, I was very blessed. Alan Pizzo, being a family member of mine, a distant cousin.
Wow.
Oh,
Something happened. What just happened? My hands are off the mic. My hands are off the thing. Are you okay there, Kurt?
yeah, I'm here. You got me?
Yeah, I got you. Let me go ahead and something just happened. All right, he's back. Uh-oh, what happened?
Buffering. We're buffering. We're not buffering.
Oh, okay. What happened, Lenny?
I don't know. Something just lost you guys there. I don't know what happened with the internet, but we'll try again.
Okay, so let's start with the storyline. And yep, our joke for this on our podcast is blaming on Frontier. So if you have Frontier internet like I have, I blame it on the Frontier.
Yeah,
That's what Richie Kaiser said.
we'll give it a shot again. But like I was saying, very lucky and blessed when I started out. Alan Pizzo being a distant cousin of mine, and Alan being a legend and Hall of Fame member of this sport, being around as long as he did, I pretty much was fortunate enough to get to grow up around the sport with him. Got to go to the first event actually with Alan's trucks. He wasn't there, but our cousin Dave was driving during the Monster War stuff in 1994 at the old Cleveland Municipal Stadium. Grew up there just outside of Cleveland. And just as a little kid, I was 6, 7 years old and saw the ads on TV and stuff and knew that Mom's cousin Alan had this truck called Predator that looked like a big Black Panther at that time, and saw it on the TV ads for everything coming up for that show that summer, and got in contact with Alan and his mom and dad, Mike and Martha, and they were bringing the truck down. And it was kind of a little famous reunion for us that year. And I like to joke and say that at 7 years old, that was my first time crewing on a truck. I've got pictures cleaning out needles and stuff and polishing the truck and getting it ready for the show that afternoon.
Awesome. That's pretty cool here. What are you doing, Kurt? You're switching up? We got multiple Kurts here.
Yeah, bring me in the. Yeah, there we go.
All right. You want me to kick you out of the other one? Okay,
Yeah.
You are kicked out of the other one. Okay, now. So after you did your 94 and you got into the monster trucks, what got you to pursue to be part of the team? And was there a time gap between hands, or were you always been following Alan until Alan finally committed and said, "Hey, you want to join the team"?
Yeah, it was always something I wanted to do growing up. Look back on old stuff from elementary school and everything. What do you want to be when you grow up? Every answer was always a monster truck driver. That was my goal in life. And through Alan was able to accomplish that over the years. Was very lucky. Alan brought me on board the summer between my freshman and sophomore year of high school. Came down here to Tennessee and hit the road. We traveled all over, went into Canada, went all the way as far as British Columbia that summer, and just kind of got a glimpse of life on the road. And kind of, as they say, the rest is history. He brought me on the next couple summers during high school. The World Finals was going on in Vegas for Monster Jam that kind of time.
Uh-oh. Lenny, you there? Kurt, you there?
I'm here.
Uh-oh, I think internet's going bad on Lenny's part. Geez. Hopefully. Hey, Lenny, you there, bud?
Lenny.
Got some texts here. Let's go here. Sorry about this, folks. It's the name of the game, you know what I mean? And we're going to try to get everything organized and get everything going here. Let's see here. Jeremy goes, I'm here. Let's see here. Sorry, folks. We'll get back to you here. Yeah, he
I
just
apologize.
signed off. But
Apologize on my end. I wanted to do this off the laptop, but it was lagging, so I'm all set up here. I don't like doing it over the phone. It's hard to keep the phone in a good spot. So that was my issue earlier. I don't know. Hopefully Lenny can get back on with us. I was looking forward to this one. I was hoping for some Pizzo stories and a lot of fun stuff. So
let's talk about the Texas ordeal. While Lenny's trying to fix the internet, you basically were rocking the ammunition truck around Texas. So how was that going, and how was the Texas folks?
Very good. It was honestly it was a cool event, and it was nice being around so many good folks out there. Well, we had one that they called and said, well, they were all supposed to be car crushes, and one had called and said, well, I don't think we're going to do the car crush thing. It's going to be a static display. And we got there and we talked to him, and he said, we've been so busy. We don't know if we could prep the cars. We told them bare minimum what we needed. They ended up getting a couple cars, and we had a huge crowd, honestly, an event-like crowd there. And that was something special. It was a small town, so it was everybody in the town, I think, seemingly came out. I think there were football practices shut down, and kids pulled out of school just to see us car crush, a little 2-car car crush on concrete, and it was a massive crowd, honestly, on par with some of the crowds. Some of the crowds that we see at our longtime dealers, some of the big ones that we do. It was crazy for a first time ever car crush being at an event like that, but it was good. There's some ups and downs. The truck behaved pretty nicely, but it threw us some curveballs. Burnt up power steering pump there. Had to change that. Got really dusty, dirty a couple times, but Rich and I worked really good and together to get the truck cleaned up between events. And there was just one decent overnight drive, like an 8-hour drive overnight to get to the next one. But other than that, wasn't too bad. So the last one was cool. All of them were fun. It was but yeah, it was a Friday, Saturday, a Monday, Tuesday, a Wednesday, Thursday, and a Friday, Saturday. So
all right,
for another.
Got news here. Lenny's back on, Kurt. So
all right.
Thank you for filling in the clock there, Kurt.
Whatever we got to do.
Yep. Actually, before we let Lenny back on, there is a quick question. Joe Pat, I can't pronounce his last name, was wondering, will you be thinking about driving General for next year?
You know what? Keep your eyes on the Jamboree websites, and we'll see what's coming.
They just released the dates too for next year. But let's get Lenny back on here, Curtis, and continue on, right?
Yep.
All right, Lenny.
All right, let's try again. Yeah, we'll blame it on the internet. Try and tether in the laptop to my phone now. See if we got better internet.
Oh.
What the hell is that?
I just hooked the laptop to the phone. Let's see if I get better.
God. Oh my gosh, what's going on here? Oh my gosh, I'm talking.
Oh my.
Oh my, this is gonna be a rough. This is a rough one. Rough one. Take 4. We're gonna keep on going, folks. So, hey, I mean, we had technical difficulties with Rob Fuchs. We had technical difficulties with everyone. It's the name of the game with this. We're all supplying each other on our own. It's not like Downhart Jr.'s Dirty Mo where the guest is actually live and we're all on each of us are all on separate internets. Mostly I'm the one that's at fault, but I think the bad juju is going on Lenny here. But Kurt has his own internet he's supplying with, and then it's all that. And thank you for everyone to understand what's going on. It's like I said, it's the name of the game, and we'll get them on. We'll continue trying. We'll continue trying until we can't no more. So, but outside of that, Kurt, we can let the jamboree dates and stuff like that, and we'll see how it goes. It could be not. We don't know. But and you got your hat.
Yeah, Jeremy. Jeremy, this is for you.
Oh, Jeremy, you get your hat. Oh man, the unexpected always makes a great show. You're right, Michael. Congratulations, by the way, on your wedding, Michael. The cool thing is, Michael Harry took us. He was a graduate from Ohio University, and he took me and Kurt to this place called Deepy Dough, which a cool calzone place. They have one in Champaign and a couple in Morgantown in Arizona, but a good place, good food. That was a crazy just car crash. That was almost 25 degrees outside, and it was a rough one. Jeremy says it's about time.
What did he say?
He said it's about time. Jeremy said.
It's if Jeremy wasn't giving me some guff, it wouldn't be Jeremy.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, Jeremy was on a few months ago. Actually, he was a pretty cool guest, and we're gonna keep on trucking. And Lenny, so
any more on Lenny?
As of right now, he's still working on it, trying to figure out what's going on. Maybe he can go to a new place. Oh, there we go. Lenny's back. Okay, we're going to get him on here.
Yeah, all right. Let's try one more time. We switched over to the phone this time, so we'll see if this is any better.
That's a much better picture.
Yeah, awesome. A lot better picture.
I'm still ugly, so I'm used to it.
It's all good. All right, so like I was telling you people, some people says the best shows are ones that are unexpected, but it was just funny because you're like, let's try, and then it was just cut, just done.
Yeah.
But like I said, with the people, we're all supplied in our own internet, so sometimes even bad weather or a bird accidentally hitting something could cause.
Oh yeah.
But so we're gonna go back and talk about what got you committed on working with Alan's team.
Yeah.
And then let's go from there with a little bit of a timeline on tell the story about how Alan how you got your step by steps.
Sure.
The ride truck, and then go ahead and talk about also the day that Alan asked you to get in one of the race trucks.
Yeah. Ended up, like I said earlier before we got cut off there, it was my summer job through high school. Not many people could be fortunate enough to say that they were a monster truck crew guy, builder, everything throughout that, and learned all aspects of it. From wasn't old enough to drive a rig, but was in the rig going up and down the road. Alan always prided himself on trying to build as much stuff in-house as he could. So learning the fabrication part of it, what it took to build a truck, build as many components as you could in-house for a truck, and just worked my way through that. Like I said, did a year of college and just decided that was not my type of thing for me. And it was about that point, early on 06 or so. And just Alan and I kind of sat down and said, hey, we're going to make this happen. And he was kind of planning for the 07 season to build himself a new truck, and kind of said, hey, I'm going to need a driver. His plan was he was running 2 trucks in one trailer, 1 truck out of the other. Was planning on going to two truck teams at that time. And his plan was kind of bring me on and sort of take over that second rig. And I was lucky enough to do that. which I guess before that, even like you said, the ride truck stuff came in. He built that ride truck back probably '05, somewhere in that ballpark, and built it with the idea in mind to keep it as close to a race truck as possible. Basically, if we wanted to, we could have went out and did a car crush with that ride truck. Had 14-inch travel gas shocks in the front, 20s in the rear, all planetary axles and everything. And it gave you the true feel of what it was like to be in a race truck. And in turn, for someone driving it, gave you the feel of what it was like to run a race truck. All of the controls, everything were 100% identical to all of Alan's race trucks. So when the time came, we were in Anderson, South Carolina, a little show that Alan was putting on himself. Had all of his trucks there, as well as Jim Jack with Reptoid, had Larry Birch with the Devil's Dodge truck, and Matt Klecker and Ballistic, and ran the first night. Alan actually ended up, it was the debut week out, and ended up, Alan ran it the first night as well as his Predator truck at the time. And the second morning, woke up in the rig. Alan kind of turned around and said, "Hey, you want to drive a race truck today?" And I kind of looked like, I don't think I even need to think about the answer to that. And went out before the show, made about 2 passes. It was a straight line drag racing track. Made a couple passes around in the field, made 2 race passes, and he gave me the thumbs up and said, "You're ready to go." And out of the blue, did my first show that evening.
That's pretty cool. And now let's go with all the he had multiple trucks. You know, he had the Predator, Lone Eagle, Prowler, Pouncer, or sometimes the Lone Eagle became the second Predator truck. What made you decide, or what did the team decide to have you in Prowler when there was other options around the table?
It was really just a matter of that was the truck that was open at the time, and like Alan and I always said, the trucks looked the same from the inside. So it's just a matter of pretty much what crew shirt and which one you got in at the time. I just took a liking to that truck, the identity of the Tiger, the bright orange colors and everything, and just ended up that wanted to really kind of stick to a certain truck, and got used to that one. I was lucky enough to run everything that Alan had equipment-wise over the years. Just really kind of took a liking to that particular chassis that primarily ran that body. And, you get used to that same truck. You can have identical trucks in a team and have them set up identical and everything, but no 2 trucks are going to work the same. And you kind of learn the little quirks of it and what that truck likes to make it do, what you want it to do. And really just took a liking to that truck and made a career out of it for 10, 11 years driving it.
Hey, Kurt, that's the same exact thing you said. You know, when sometimes when our boss makes, we do some car crushes and stuff like that. Kurt really likes to push his truck, which is number 10. And he really wants to get that truck going. So like you said, Kurt, it's kind of must be a thing.
Yeah. I agree with what Lenny said. Each truck does have its own kind of identity after, they kind of have their own feel. Even though our trucks are mostly identical, there's some differences between them, especially 11 from the other ones. But even though, I've driven them all too, 12, 10, and 9. They're all pretty much, those 3 are all pretty much identical, but yet there's just something that makes them unique. It could be slight differences in motor. It could be, slight differences here or there. In certain ones, the motor sits lower and higher than the others. That makes a difference. We're only talking slightly, but yeah, exactly. Lenny's right on point. There's something to that, and then if it's one, especially like Lenny was saying, that you're primarily driving, you want to gravitate more towards using that truck when you can. But in our case, certain ones are wearing certain bodies, and it's just easier to, instead of change bodies, just run.
Logistics-wise, it's better off to just, sometimes it's a whole lot easier and less work to be able to just hop in a different truck. And I was lucky to do that over the years as well. Probably the most fun truck would be Alan's current race truck, which is number 7. We built that in 07. We debuted it, and it was completely different. It was the low motor, the stepped in frame rails. It was one of the first trucks that had the big 4-inch nitrogen shocks on it. Just kind of all that innovative stuff that Alan, through his 40-something years of experience, wanted to try. And we pretty much sat down when we built that truck and said, we're going to try all this stuff. And it was not perfect out of the box by any means. I was in a different show the weekend he debuted it, and getting those shocks worked out and all the setups on that truck to make it do what he wanted to do. It was bad enough the first weekend he wanted the leaf spring truck back. But over the years of all the trial and error and adjustments and rebuilding those shocks and getting them to work, I'd put that truck up against any other truck out there still to this day. Alan is probably about 100 pounds lighter than me and just a little bit shorter. So it's a little bit of a tight squeeze when I would get in that truck and run it. But without a doubt, probably one of the most fun trucks you'll ever run.
I was about to say, when that truck's on the rail, that's a fast truck. I've seen video of that truck, and that truck's pretty fast. It has, and people forget that that truck has won some racing events and made into the semis and Monster Jam events in the finals that people don't give it credit about. But that truck, when it's dialed in, is a dangerous truck.
Yes, and plenty of Hemi horsepower, like you two are familiar with, and that's an advantage over a lot of the other stuff out there as well. And when you have that kind of horsepower and a truck that's making it work, it makes for a good day.
Now, one cool thing I think about your truck and the other Pizzo's trucks, but your in particular, is that for a few years, I mean, you ran the big block Chevy, but you also had the Hemi underneath that Prowler truck too, correct?
Yes, primarily I had a Hemi motor as well throughout my career when I was with Alan. He took very good care of me and keeping good motors and all the stuff. Like you said, he ran the big block Chevrolet motors as well. But the Hemis, there's just no comparison. You look at any other kind of racing, drag racing and stuff, and a blown alcohol motor, there's no comparison to that Hemi motor.
Prowler, were you the first to debut the Prowler identity or no?
I was not, definitely was not. Our cousin Dave Pizzo was actually the first one to run that identity back in '98. He ran it for several years. And then Larry Jarzell ran it for quite a few years, as well as some of the other guys that run for Alan. Dale Mitchell has run it. Eric Wiley has run it. And several others throughout the years have run that. I was just very fortunate enough. Kind of took a liking to that identity, and Alan let me primarily run it for the length of my career with him.
Are they painted or are they wrapped?
They are all paint. Actually, the Prowler body that I ran at the end of my career with Alan was 100% paint. The lettering, everything on it was paint. He has a very talented airbrush artist just outside of Nashville that airbrushes all the bodies, and we kept him up. You tear him up here and there, but he did stick with all paint throughout the years on all those bodies.
Well, probably Kurt knows, but a little fun fact for you all the fans. We're going to go off kiltered here. If anyone knows the debut driver of the Rammunition truck, Lenny just named the guy. That would be Dale Mitchell. Correct? Yeah, Dale.
Yep, back during the Pro MT days.
He was the one that debuted Rammunition for the Hall brothers back in the Pro MT days. Yep. But now, one thing I do remember, when you first started driving the Prowler truck, you were one of the first guys I saw that had that type of helmet with the air thing on there. Explain about that, and how did you get involved with that system?
Basically what it was, Alan had it in his trucks throughout the years, and just kind of he primarily used it. What it is was simply just a little air blower motor inside the truck that connects with a hose through your helmet and blows fresh air basically into your helmet. A lot of the drag racing guys, they're required to run an oxygen fed helmet and stuff like that. Whereas it just kind of helps you cool. I've actually got my old helmet back right here. I'm kind of show you a little bit of what it does. This is the top of the helmet here. The air hose basically connects right in here, and up inside the helmet, this is an impact helmet, their particular design. There are some air ports right up inside the helmet here, and it actually blows fresh air down on your shield. A lot of guys, and I guess maybe it's a safety thing to me, but I see a lot of guys running without a face shield down or anything. And when you have that element of fire and all that, I always liked, just for that safety, to have that piece of Lexan shield in front of your face in case anything ever was to happen. And it keeps your shield from fogging up. Some of those hot days, we ran all year round. Every year did between 60 and 70 events a year. So you're running in the dead cold of winter in a wind tunnel, basically in an arena with ventilation going, to 90, 100 plus degree days in the middle of summer. And it just keeps that little bit of fresh air blowing into the helmet. And it was something that, like I said, that Alan had in his. And once I started running, I knew that was something that I would kind of like the idea of and wanted to keep running it for myself.
Now, you also had that unique style too, with like, if you bring your helmet back out, the visor.
Yes.
Now, that visor of yours, I've seen videos and GoPros of it. Was that only for summertime racing, or did you use that throughout even first quarter?
No, I actually even used it through first quarter. The tinted visor, to me, I mean, remembering back guys that I always seen wear them, name out of Canada, Don Frankish, I always remember had a cool kind of blue chrome visor on his helmets. I just thought the look kind of looked cool and fit the colors of the truck and everything with that sort of yellow chrome. But in the indoor shows with Monster Jam and whoever else we ran with throughout the winter, the lighting in some of those buildings is awful bright, and it would cut a lot of the glare down, I found, throughout the years.
Oh, okay. Right on. Yeah, because it's just the simple stuff, I guess, can make, outside of just you getting used to the truck, you also have to get used to your surroundings. And definitely. I know with the Prowler truck, outside doing the stadiums, you did a lot of the arenas. And the way I hear stories is those walls come fast.
They do. Yes, you have to know your truck. And I credit a lot of that and thank Alan for that, of all the years of running the ride truck. You guys have a ride truck, and I'm sure you run it, Dan. I'm sure Kurt, everyone ends up getting to run the ride truck from time to time. And I would take every advantage I could and tell a lot of guys that are wanting to come up into the industry, that is an incredible tool to learn how to drive and maneuver that truck. You might be doing a ride truck in a parking lot somewhere with barriers around you, and you use that as a tool to be able to learn how to maneuver that truck and put it where you want it.
Right on. Yeah, and exactly. Like this weekend, I was in Huntsville, Texas, and they really didn't get the setup for what we had with the ride truck, but we made do with it. And we had to go through a parking lot with the ride truck. They give rides, and I had to know where it was going on. One time, me and Kurt were at Fort Myers, Florida, and we basically had to go through a Fiat and Alfa Romeo dealer with a ride truck. Oh, nothing says ride truck experience when you're driving through a lane of almost $150,000 cars.
Oh yeah. Like, I remember doing county fairs and big fairs down in Florida and stuff every winter, where they'd have pretty big name concert acts every night, and you're driving past their $500,000, $750,000 tour buses, and trying to maneuver through while they're getting ready to do their concerts. It's part of the deal. And a lot of guys ask, and I don't get it as much anymore as not being in the industry, but I try and kind of stay in tune with everyone and stuff. But you get a lot of people asking. A lot of people still have that dream like I had of wanting to get into this industry. And something like a ride truck or as a crew guy, I tell them that is the best way to go. And Alan kind of wanted me to do that, to know those trucks inside and out, every nut, bolt, what it took to make it work before I ever even got in the seat to move a truck in and out of the trailer even. And I think it makes you a better driver in the long run.
That question has been asked for the last couple episodes about the training purposes and stuff like that, about the nuts and bolts and also learning about the toolboxes and the parts in the trailer and whatnot. We're going to take a little bit of a little story time here, Lenny, and talk about the time Alan came to you or the crew about rebuilding his very first Predator truck.
Yeah, that was a fun time. Back before the idea of the Monster Truck Hall of Fame or any of that came about, he was wanting to kind of do it as a history lesson. A lot of the fans to the sport don't know where these guys 40 years plus ago started. They don't know what this stuff started. They see what Monster Jam and the other events are doing on TV all the time, going to the live events nowadays, and they don't know where this sport actually evolved from. Back when he sort of started going to the race trucks and the glass bodies and stuff, sold off several of the bodies to the trucks and everything. And that particular body to that original Predator was sold to a friend of his back where he grew up in Michigan, and he ran it as a mud truck and some other stuff throughout the years. And throughout the summers, we did quite a few fairs throughout the whole state of Michigan, and Alan got in contact with the gentleman that had that truck, and he still had it. It still was the original paint on it and everything. And we basically kind of started rebuilding it. He got the body back, parts of the frame he had sitting there, axles, and I'm sure you know with Mark and Tim, these old monster truck guys, they don't throw anything out ever. It's if there's something that they had in their career, it's probably sitting around somewhere on their property. And he had a lot of the old original parts. And when he started out in '84 with the Lone Eagle truck, built it, and he had pictures that his parents took when they were building that truck of each and every step through the process of building the frame that they built, the springs, the axles, and he went through, and what he had we put back together, stuff we didn't have duplicated exactly how it was originally, down to the 2.5 ton air shift transfer case, the 5 ton axles, and all of that like it was. He still had the original Midwest aluminum wheels that were on those original trucks. We mounted them back up on some uncut Goodyears that he had kind of just scavenged away back in the barn over the years, and tried everything we could do to make it look as much of the original as it was, and built that. Like I said, his idea was in mind to do sort of a history lesson at some of his own shows that he was promoting, and come out with that truck, say this is how the industry started out. It wasn't flying trucks 40 feet through the air with 2,000 horsepower motors in them and stuff. It was crawling over the cars. And then, as everyone knows, how this industry evolved, and then wanted to come out with like a new race truck and say, well, this is how we do it now. And in the process, we got that truck done and actually debuted it at the reopening event of the Pontiac Silverdome, which I've got chills on the back of my neck just talking about that. Everyone knows throughout their career, there's those certain events that stand out. I mean, I did Vegas, the Monster Jam World Finals with Feld throughout the years and their different names that they were, and other events, but getting to run the Prowler truck there and actually re-debut that recreation of the original Predator truck there, that meant a lot. The history in that building, it's basically the public debut of where the monster truck industry started, in my opinion. And throughout that process, we debuted it there. Alan got talking to Jeff Cook, who was building what became the Shotgun Harry truck at the time, and as an old school truck as well. He wanted to get into that stuff, and they started the Monster Truck Hall of Fame. And here we are 10 years later, with what has become an amazing deal to preserve the history of this industry.
So with the redone of the Predator truck, you also made it as a tool, like you said, but you guys did some car crushes. You also looks like you grabbed 4 more Goodyear tires, and then you made it to 8-pack while putting in the lake. But then sort of online, you guys did convert that into a second ride truck also. That it's still people get the ride in that truck and stuff like that. So later on in your career, kind of in the closing, when did you start thinking yourself, it's time to move on? I still believe you're still a young person.
I'm 34. It was just we ran a lot, and I know guys like you with the Hall Brothers team, you do quite a bit as well. We ran a lot, 60, 70 events a year, and that was the only job I'd ever had at the time. Like I said, I started out working for Alan as a summer job in high school, and so I was there a bit of 15 years or so, and just wanted to kind of step back a little bit, take some time with family, sort of enjoy stuff at home a little bit, and just take a step back a little bit. Haven't been around the stuff as much as I thought I would once I stepped back. Would love to take the opportunity anytime to kind of work my way back in a little bit, but I had never had what they say sort of a normal job throughout my whole life until I sort of stepped away from Alan and the monster truck stuff and sort of gave the normal job thing a shot. The Monday through Friday, being home on weekends and all that sort of stuff.
So what are you, after you step foot with family and stuff like that, what are you doing now as your profession?
Sure. I actually work for a local company here in Franklin, Tennessee, just outside of Nashville, not too far from where Alan's shop is. It's a landscape and hardscape supply company. We sell just about any type of rock that you can imagine for patios, hardscapes, pools, landscaping, all types of landscaping supplies and stuff like that.
Nice. Now we're going to throw another wrench in this conversation.
Sure.
Let's talk about your second gen Ram. You always post a lot of pictures of that truck. It still looks like it never left the facility of the dealer, not the dealership, but the place it was built at. But what got you so into that type of truck?
Basically, I always wanted a nice lifted truck. Was always in that truck show scene as well. Never had anything growing up, and ended up was going to a show, several shows for a couple of weeks in Canada. This was back probably 07, 08 when I was working for Alan, and just was kind of looking just like we all do through it wasn't online, Facebook Marketplace or something back then, but the grocery stores would have a little truck trade or paper that you can get every week, and saw one in there for sale. And I was going on the road for about 4 or 5 weeks to Canada. And I said, if that truck's still there when I get home, I'm going to take a look at it. And sure enough, got back a couple weeks later and it was still listed for sale. Dealership was about an hour away. So I was at a used car lot and drove down, took a look at it and decided it was what I wanted to do. So test drove it that day and ended up coming back with a check from the bank and driving it home the next day. And just always took pride in my vehicles and stuff over the years. So I always try and keep it as good as could be. It's got the Cummins in it, nice diesel truck. It's got 316 something thousand miles on it now, but still going strong. Luckily here in Tennessee, we don't get quite as much winter weather as we did back up in Ohio where I grew up, or Illinois where you are, or anything. So it doesn't see the salt and stuff, everything. So that helps quite a bit with keeping it looking good. But it's my daily driver, drive it back and forth to work every day. After I got out of the monster truck stuff, my family and I decided we wanted something still to kind of get our motorsports fix. My girlfriend's got 2 boys that are great guys. They love the 4-wheelers and dirt bikes and everything. So we went and bought us a Razor. So we do the side-by-side deal, load it in the trailer and load the 4-wheelers in and go out and just enjoy ourselves. Makes the motorsport stuff. It makes the motorsport stuff enjoyable. Not that I didn't enjoy the monster truck stuff, but that was your career and the stress and everything of making everything happen, making sure everything was right. Whereas we hop in the Razor and go out and just have some fun.
Nice.
There you go. Late nights and early mornings.
Yes. Yep. It's fun. I post pictures and stuff. It's still just like I basically inherited kind of that can't ever leave anything alone and always wanting to improve and stuff from Alan, just the way he always was with the trucks. Well, I've kind of applied that to the Razor. If you follow me on social media and stuff, it's always making shock adjustments or springs, and working on a little 18-inch coilover on a Razor is a little bit easier than pulling apart a 30-inch travel, 4-inch diameter monster truck shock and revalving it or anything like that.
I'd like to see that picture of your second gen. That'd be kind of cool. What color is it?
It's silver. Basically, it's the extended cab short bed. It's a 99. Got the 24 valve Cummins in it. I always like I always like the big wide wheels back. Just talking back to the show truck days, the stuff like the Marion County Indy Jamborees and stuff like that. So when the bigger diameter wheels and stuff started coming out back several years ago, Fuel came out with a 20 by 14 inch wide wheel, and it's got a 33 1450 with the 20 by 14s on it. And like I said, I drive it every day.
So we got a couple of questions here for you.
Sure.
And from some fans. And Scott Bryant was asking, have Lenny tell about the aluminum trash can story.
Yep, that was before my time when I started on with Alan, but I mentioned the Midwest aluminum wheels that he had on the original Lone Eagle truck. And I believe was mounting them up for one of his earlier ride trucks back when he still lived in Michigan. And as y'all know, sometimes you can't get a monster truck tire to beat up on them wheels, and did the old ether trick. And it ended up burning a little bit more than he thought in it. And it's still in the museum sitting that way. If you look at one of the wheels on that original Predator truck, it almost looks like an old weld drag racing wheel with kind of the scallops around the inside of that wheel. And that was from just a little bit too much ether trying to bead that tire up.
Oh my goodness. Nice one there, Scott. John Seasock said, howdy, Lenny.
Hey, John, great to run with him over the years. Looked up to him as a driver and owner and everything before I got to get in the seat, and was very lucky to get to run with him quite a few times over the years as a driver.
Jeremy Dishman's commenting, it's something to do with this hair situation. But when he saw you, he says everyone's losing hair. But
yeah,
me.
it's thinning out. It's thinning out. I don't know what Jeremy's secret is, but I don't know if it was putting that helmet on and off so many times throughout the years, or the stress of running monster trucks up and down the road all across North America. But yeah, it's thinned out quite a bit over the years.
Jerry Richmond said, hey, what's going on, Lenny?
Hey, Jerry, another great legend of our sport that I was glad to see get into the Hall of Fame and contribute everything that he has, rebuilding his original Terminator truck. I've seen rumblings and stuff on social media of some other trucks, maybe the Lethal Weapon or something like that, going back together. Great Buckeye State guy. Wish I would have known Jerry a little bit more early on when I was a young kid growing up. Really kind of stuck around with Alan and his stuff, being as he was a family member of mine. But great guy like Jerry wasn't but maybe less than an hour away from where I grew up, just south of Cleveland area.
How far were you from Dave Rappage?
We were probably about an hour and a half. I was maybe 10, 15 miles south of Cleveland. Seven Hills was the town I grew up in, right down I-77 from Cleveland there. And there was a lot of guys in that Ohio area. You had Dan Patrick with Sampson and all of his countless contributions still to this day to our industry. You had the Holmans down in the Dayton area. There was Tim Tesmer, Excalibur. Yes, those guys in Toledo. You had quite a few people from Ohio throughout the monster truck history. That was one of the times I got to run up there several times throughout my career. Did the Cleveland show one year, and I can't tell you how many family and friends and everyone I had come out that actually got to see what I did, what I moved 8 hours away to Nashville, Tennessee, and traveled all over the country to do. That was pretty cool to get to go back there and actually show all my family and friends that I grew up with and stuff what we actually did.
Another guy, Aaron Cromer, which will be a guest here in the next couple of weeks. He drove a truck called Anger Management for Rick Rabb over there, and I think Connected. He said, love you, Lenny.
Awesome. Yeah. Aaron's another great guy. That's one of the things I really miss most about the industry. Miss the fans as much as anything, but the camaraderie that everyone in this sport has had over the years. Just these names that you're mentioning right here, a guy like Jerry Richmond, who was one of the originals, all the way up to people that are still running today. I look at some of the young guys that are out there today. An example, Tyler Meninga in the Gravedigger truck. Incredible amount of talent, the way that he can move a truck around and stuff. And saw him here. We still go to the Nashville events here. Monster Jam does 2 shows a year here usually, which COVID has kind of screwed that up this year. But they do an outdoor show at the Nissan Stadium, football stadium, as well as an indoor show. And my family goes. We take some friends and stuff and still go every year. And someone like Tyler there, my kids wanted to get a picture with him the last time he was here for the indoor arena show a couple of years ago, and he'd come up and ask me for my autograph. That's just always that sort of thing, the camaraderie that this industry has always had. Which some of the stuff, with the way things are going now, I'm sure it's a little bit different, but that was always amazing. Of you could be traveling through anywhere and need something, and someone that's in that area is more than happy to bring it to you. And parts wise, when you're at a show, guy might bring you a high dollar part out of his trailer that you slap on your truck to get to the next round, and you take him out that next round with that part that he just loaned you to get by. That was one of the things I really miss, is all the amazing people that I met over the years in the industry.
Now we also have Suzanne Kuilder. She said you should race again. So no pressure.
No, that's my little sister Susie. But yeah, that would someday I wouldn't turn down the opportunity to get back behind the wheel again. The time was right and everything. Definitely would take the opportunity to do it again.
Do you ever sit in and do one every once in a while, or
I haven't in quite a few years. Been very lucky. The industry we're in here that I'm working in now, through all this COVID stuff, the market here in Nashville for housing and stuff is incredibly booming, and we keep pretty busy. But if I ever have the opportunity and the timing was right and everything, I wouldn't turn down the opportunity to be able to get back behind the wheel again.
I was about to say Nashville is like one of the top 5 cities that are growing exponentially. Same thing with Denver and Tampa. It's growing huge. When I was there about 2 years, when me and Mark and them were there last year for Nashville, they were talking about how the suburbs are growing leaps and bounds around that town, city. So, I mean, it's
an amazing town. Like you guys know, you travel. When I was doing it with Alan, made it through all of North America, did all the 48 lower states, from coast to coast of Canada, from Prince Edward Island on the east coast in the Atlantic to Vancouver Island on the west coast. And I haven't found anywhere I love better than right here in Middle Tennessee. It's an awesome area.
So we got another one here from Wayne Nobai Jr. And he was like, what was your experience like when you hit your first car / obstacle, and what did you think once you landed on a jump for the first time?
Yeah.
So your first experience driving a monster truck.
Go back to my first time driving in Anderson, South Carolina, back in July of 2006, and it was a rush. I won't deny that. Alan spoiled me from the get-go. It was actually the chassis that I ran primarily the most of my career as the Prowler body, had the Pouncer body on it that weekend, and it had a pretty healthy Hemi in it, and basically it was go. It kind of sort of taught me the basics and stuff. I had the general aspect down to driving the truck, but Alan was one of those that always said, you kind of learn as you go. He would tell me the basics of what I needed to do and stuff. And like I said, I went out, just had never driven anything with that much power. I'd driven trucks in and out of the trailer and moved around at the shop and stuff, but went out in the field and whacked the throttle, grabbed second gear and went on. And it was a rush, and then went out and made a full-on race pass. It was a straight line drag racing track that we had built there with a roller. Don't know how long the run was up to the second set, but went out and did it, and it was fun. Every time I got in that truck, it was a blast to think that you're taking a 10,000-pound truck and flying it through the air. There's no other motorsports or vehicle that compares to what a monster truck is. There's guys that come from guys and girls that come from every other type of motorsport, and you can take stuff that you learn and apply it to these trucks, but there is not another type of vehicle in the existence in the world that compares to what a monster truck is.
Yeah, it's I haven't got it yet, but I hope so.
Oh yeah, your time will come. Just keep at it, and your time will come, Dan.
But I mean, like Kurt, like you said, Kurt, your first time behind the wheel of a truck, and the adrenaline rush that kicks in, also, huh?
Yeah, like Lenny said, it's a complete different experience than anything. I've driven in a few different kinds of motorsports things, and it's. I'd never jumped anything before. Most of my stuff was non-jumping stuff, but it's a lot different than you think it would be. Sometimes more violent than you think it should be, and sometimes a lot softer than you think it is. And nothing's ever the same twice. Everything's different. So It's not like a lot of these circle track guys, can kind of get a feel for a car time in, time out, and they can give good data on how it performs. Everything's different every time. Right. The dynamics change.
Oh yeah, I mean, you could take the same track if you have 2 shows in one day, and if they don't if they might cut a ramp out for freestyle and they don't build that ramp back exactly the same, you think you're going to go out and have the same track the next show, and one lane might not be the same as it was the previous show, and you have to adapt to that and make it work.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. And then one of our last, right as of right now, fan questions is John Fitzgerald. He owns a truck called Turbulence over there in New Hampshire, and he said, "Who would you want? Okay, who would you want to drive for if you had the opportunity to drive for any team?"
I was very lucky to stick with Alan throughout my career. I'd definitely like to run any of his trucks again. There's quite a few trucks out there. It'd be fun, I think, kind of watching. I was always trying to study everyone's stuff out there and apply what everyone else would do to their trucks, that sort of see something that would work on someone's truck, apply it to mine. You look at the Bigfoot stuff. Always had top-notch equipment throughout the years. Someone like Mark and Tim there that you guys work for, power-wise. Always looked up, because we ran with them a lot, even when I was a young kid, like the Dan Patricks and Deal Wilsons. Always looked up to Deal. Probably some of the nicest and cleanest trucks throughout his entire career that I ever saw. And even back to the old school stuff, Deals and a lot of the other guys out there. I know I'm kind of bouncing around. It'd be fun to run a Feld truck, to be able to have that go out there and do whatever ticket, to be able to go out there and run. I just love the industry so much. I mean, I'd strap into just about anyone's truck out there and get to go out and make a pass.
Also, I think Lee Plato, I think he has your chassis right now in California, I believe.
Mm-hmm. I believe he purchased the chassis from Alan that I drove primarily. I've been kind of following along. Looks like they've been rebuilding it and kind of getting it ready to run as their own identity. I see his question there about the mini monster trucks. That was another fun deal we got to do. I believe his son has actually been driving the first mini monster truck that we built for Todd and them down in Florida that KJ drove. That one was a fun truck. It had a supercharged small block Chevrolet on it with electronic fuel injection on top of it, and it was a fun truck to run. We tested and everything at the shop before we delivered it them up at Lima at the Jamboree that year we finished it, and it was a lot of fun. Basically take the dynamics and everything of the big full-size monster truck and scale it down, and you've got a rocket ship. They were a lot of fun to run.
Now, you also built the Kesners too, right? In Indianapolis?
Yep, we built theirs. Built several of them over the years. Built a couple for Todd Weston down there in Florida with the Team Kid KJ camp. They debuted one of them at SEMA, had a Ford EcoBoost motor in it. Built that one for Richie and Colton and them. That one originally had a Chevrolet 4.3 liter V6 in it. I know they've changed it out to a V8 now. And Alan has two of them of his own that he runs. We debuted his first one, his own first personal one, at SEMA back in, I think it was 2015. Had a Edwards Ironworkers body on it at the time. He still runs it today. Has actually added a supercharger on it here. See him every now and then. I've got a big car show here in south of Nashville and Franklin the first Saturday of every month. And when he's home, he's there. Even when I was running for him, we were there Saturday mornings. And I get to go a little bit more often now. But I was talking to him. He's put a supercharger on his. And then his son has actually had another one. I believe they put a 4.3 V6 in it, and his son runs that one.
Now, Lee was saying they swapped out the original motor and put in a 750 horsepower 383 with a blower.
Awesome. Yeah, that'd be a fun truck to run with that kind of motor in it. When Alan started building those, it was kind of looking to like drag racing, the junior dragster type deal and everything, as a stepping stone for people to get into the sport. There really was no other kind of stepping stone leading up to a full-size monster truck. And they're just as much fun for the kids to run as it is for adults to run. Did a lot of testing in them at Alan's shop throughout the years, and they're a blast to run.
Now, Jason Langley, I guess, said he wanted to say hi and wanted to let you know that you're his favorite driver of all time.
Awesome. Thank you, Jason. That means a lot. That guy that's been out of it here for 4 or 5 years and still has people remember who I was. And that was a big part of what I always tried to do. Try and make time for anyone, whether it was a fan, another driver, a tech official, anyone. Just try and make time for them and be as nice as could be. I mean, the fact that these trucks, the power that they have, not the horsepower, but the fact that, and especially nowadays with what we're going through here in the world, the fact that these trucks that can be a pain in our butts as drivers, crew guys, owners, everything, that people spend their hard-earned money, and for those 2 or 3 hours that they're there at that event, they can forget about their problems, whatever they might have going on in their lives, in the world, and forget about it and enjoy it. And I always tried to remember that these people were spending their money to come see us drive these big old trucks around and project that friendliness and just good attitude to them always, that whether I won, lose, tore a truck up, didn't tear a truck up, whatever, just to remember that these people are spending their hard-earned money. And I greatly appreciate everyone that ever came to see me run throughout the years.
Yes. Thank you. You know, man, we're getting a lot more people giving questions here. Brian Smith, I think I pronounced his name right. He said, Lenny, I think I remember seeing you at Florida's arena quite a few years ago. What was your favorite moment driving for Alan Pizzo?
There was quite a few of them, but honestly, my favorite moment ever, and I'll tell anyone this, we did it twice at up at the International Monster Truck Museum and Hall of Fame. Jeff Cook put on a couple of events up there, and anyone that's ever been to the Hall of Fame, which it's actually its old location now, glad to hear that it's going to have its own permanent home up the road a little bit. But at the old location there in Auburn, there's a pretty large pond, lake, whatever you want to call it, out front of the museum. And part of that event with the old school stuff was we were going to float the monster trucks. I know, Dan, you mentioned a little bit earlier, we took that original Predator truck, built some adapters, and put duals all the way around on it, and we floated it. And that was the most impressive thing that I ever got to do in a monster truck. With the racing and stuff I did and everything, the fact that you're taking that truck that weighs upwards of 15,000, 16,000 pounds, putting dual tires all the way around on it, and driving straight into the lake. It was a pretty eerie feeling the first time we did it, not knowing what was going to happen, what it was going to do and stuff. But literally, it was about a 3-4 foot drop off on the side we went in the first time we did it. And there's pictures on the internet and stuff of us doing it. There's video out there too, driving straight down that drop off, and you're going in the water. The front bobbled a little bit. This first went in and back went in, and it settled out, and we were off from there. One of the advantages that we found with the dual tires compared to everyone else that did it, had just single tires all the way around, is we had double the buoyancy. So we sat a little bit higher out of the water, but with the dual tires, and we didn't think of it ahead of time, we actually had twice the amount of tire pulling you through the water as well. So we drove a little bit faster than all the other trucks. Well, the second time we did it, just trying to put on a show for everyone. It's kind of a joke. We were trying to see if there was any fish in there and was wondering if we were going to fling any up with the tires. Well, we went in, Alan tossed a fishing pole that we happened to take with us in the bed of the truck, and we got about halfway out in the lake, and he hopped out of the driver's seat, hopped in the bed of the truck, told me to get in the driver's seat, and he started casting the fishing line out there and seeing if he could catch something, just kind of add to the show. Didn't end up catching nothing, but I can say I got to drive a monster truck on water floating. So that was without a doubt the most impressive and most fun thing that I ever got to do.
How was that?
It was a pretty cool experience. There was a fine line that you had to find. If you started giving it too much throttle and brought your wheel speed up too much, it actually started sucking the truck down into the water. So you kind of had to find that ideal wheel speed to where it was pulling you through the water and not pulling you down. There was a pretty good sized sandbar out in the middle of the lake the first time we went, and it started getting up on one side, churning up the sand and dirt and everything, and we didn't know how far it was going to go. Luckily, we went over it, and it just leveled itself out, but it was a little nerve-wracking when it started kind of tilting up on the one side there.
Is it a little bit nerve-wracking now to when you first enter the water? Because it seems like most of the accidents with the monster trucks in the old days was the first initial getting into there, and then
Yep.
what
It
was
definitely was. It was nerve wracking. I mean, just kind of looking back and forth at each other. I was in the passenger seat. Alan was in the front seat. Chris Parrish from the Monster Blog was actually in the bed filming the first time we did it, and all just kind of looking at each other like, what is it going to do? And hoping we had a tractor or something that we can get on that bank and start pulling it back out if things didn't go right.
Did you have a bailout plan? Like, did you have a mindset like, if this does go south, am I going out this door, this window, whatever?
My parents sent me to swimming lessons when I was about a year or two old, and knew how to swim, and just basically that's what we were going to do from there. Didn't have an exact plan or anything, just hoping it was going to work. And thankfully, with the duals on and everything, it worked. And actually that day ended up everyone did car crushes after that, and just because of the fact that we didn't want to take the extra tires off, Alan went out and did a car crush with all 8 tires on it after that. So didn't change anything on that truck, which a little bit different setup than a race truck nowadays, but nothing was changed on it or anything. Then it was ready to go do a car crush right after.
You speak of this person's name before, but he's online watching it also. And it's Mr. Don Frankish. He says,
Sure.
Just hanging out with you in the pits, Lenny. It was always a good visit.
Yep, Don was a great guy. I loved running with him with his Maniac and Jurassic Attack trucks. That just goes back to it. And that's one thing that if you haven't been to the Monster Truck Hall of Fame before, all these relationships we talk about of the people that you meet over the years in this industry and stuff, both as fans and members of the industry that work in it, that's an awesome place it's almost, I describe it like a high school reunion for monster truck guys, where you get to go see these guys that you might not have seen for 20, 30 years. And as a sort of younger member of the generation in the monster truck stuff, guys that you looked up to as kids, and people that you may not have ever got to run, but you watched on TV or in videos and stuff growing up that you get to go meet. And I was really looking forward. I said it when some of the other companies had come out with, they were going to do their own Hall of Fame, and this was going to be the 10th anniversary of the original International Monster Truck Museum and Hall of Fame. And I set out that I was going to make it back there this year, and was really disappointed that the event wasn't able to happen due to the COVID and everything. But hopefully we'll all be back to normal next year, and with the addition of their new building and the grand opening of that, I really encourage everyone, whether you're a fan, driver, crew member, whatever, if you like monster trucks, it's definitely something that you need to add to your bucket list to check out.
So I got 3 hard-hitting questions. Well, 2 hard-hitting questions. The other one I always like about. And this one is my personal one, and I have been asking this since a few months back. But what's the coolest thing you have crushed?
Coolest thing I crushed. I've done a boat. I've done airplanes, school buses, motorhomes. Kind of tried to stay away from the motorhomes, being as those bodies that we tried to take care of as much as we could. Probably a boat or an airplane. Back when I was first starting out as a crew guy, it was just driving trucks around. My parents kind of gave it to me as a gift. We were doing a show, a little county fair in Owensville, Ohio, down outside of Cincinnati area, and was driving the Lone Eagle body truck out for introductions, and drove over an orange traffic cone. And my parents took a picture of it that night, and still got it framed. Said it was Lenny's first crush in a monster truck.
That's awesome. One
other thing we did
okay,
one of the AMP tour shows, just another stories that come back to mind.
Okay.
Was an AMP tour show down in Lakeland, Florida. We had, I believe, 3 of our trucks there in the ride truck. Dan Runney was there in the Bigfoot truck, and Jim Jack and Reptoid. And it was like a church van or bus or something they had. We opened it up. We're just kind of always just making sure there was nothing in it that you didn't want to crush. And this van was full of Christmas decorations. So we were bored in between shows. Everyone had their stuff together from Friday night. It was like a Friday night, Saturday night show. And Saturday afternoon, we proceeded to pull all the Christmas decorations out of this van and decorated the van stack and everything we could with Christmas lights and trees and everything. So by the end of the night, we ended up actually the very final finishing out freestyle. We did a little encore where we had 4 trucks freestyling together at the same time, crushing Christmas trees and Christmas lights on the track and everything. So that was kind of a fun deal, something different. Like I said, just to always add to the show and just make the fans remember something different every year.
You have right now have told the most unique story of crushing stuff.
Right.
Yeah, that's some of the better answers that you've had.
Yeah, it was one of those things where you always tried to make the best of it. I mean, it's not the glamorous life that everyone thinks always. It's got its moments, but there was guys, you'd get burned out being out on the road for months at a time and stuff, and that was your family out on the road, and you tried to make the best of it with them and enjoy yourselves and do the best you could, because it made the show that much better. Everyone could see that you were enjoying yourself and having fun, and it just made the show that much better.
So for me, it's the last 2 main podcast questions. And first one is, are you for or against eggnog?
I'm for it. I've actually we've got some sitting here in the refrigerator, and I don't know. I've listened in the last couple of weeks just to kind of get a grasp of what y'all talk about and stuff. I don't know if I could do a full gallon one time like Brad's going to do.
Yep.
But I'm sure I drink my fair share this time of year.
So, let's go here on the episode. Let's see here. I promised everyone the episode. It will be the 22nd of December. Brad's going to drink a gallon of eggnog, sponsored by everyone that told him because he opened his mouth about some hockey thing and got beat. So he has to drink that and also wear his Calgary Flames uniform. He doesn't like Calgary, but if he bails, he's suspended for 3 weeks.
Oh.
So if he fails, he has to drink. If he fails and he can't finish, he has to wear the jersey and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But if he wins, he gets like a Metallica album. So
okay.
So everyone's saying the puke bucket is ready. I'm gonna have people on during the show.
He's gonna get sick.
Yep.
He's the one that did it.
Guaranteed he's going to get sick. You can't even drink a gallon. There's a gallon of milk challenge that you can't drink a gallon of milk, much less eggnog. You're going to get him sick.
We've got a competitor of ours in the monster truck industry. I bet if anyone's run with Richie Blackburn over the years, I bet Richie can take that challenge on, no questions.
See, Kurt, he's the one that made that bet. We did it.
Right.
He's digging his own grave. I'm just the one that kept on. I'm just here so he doesn't bail out. I'm the guy that has to shut the door on him. He has to fight the bear. So, no backing out. He says he's not backing out. He's going to do it. We are going to allow him to. The puke bucket is going to be ready. He's only allowed. I think we're only going to give him like three, censorship.
Yeah.
But that's about it. The 4th time, if he has to do the 4th time. Yeah,
he's done. That's over.
Is it going to be live?
Yep.
Are you doing it on the podcast?
Yep, it's a podcast. Yeah, no, it's alive. It's like I'm trying to make it like a Jerry Lewis Telethon. I'm like guest speakers left and right going, oh, how do you think? I'm going to mute Brad though because I don't want to hear any of that stuff. So we're going to talk about how you think Brad's doing right now, and then they sign off. Another person comes in, so I'll get some guest people on and support him or stuff like that. But he can hear, but we're just gonna mute his mic so we don't have to hear any upchucks. So
I was gonna say you might have to have somebody in the backstage to make sure guest host ready. So
Yeah.
Well, I am gonna have guest hosts. Brad's the focal point. He is the guest, so he's gonna be the one that's gonna be doing the situation that's gonna happen. So it's gonna be fun. He's the one. Let me be the hero here, fans. He's the one that dug his own grave on this situation. He's the one that's in his mouth saying his hockey team is better than the Chicago Blackhawks. They lost. The bet was he had to drink eggnog. He never said the quantity. And I threw the quantity number, and he said okay. So that's another check mark. He was okay with the bets. That's another check mark. He said okay. He could have said no.
what would have happened if he won? What was the counter bet?
If he wins, I have to go buy the a vinyl of the new Metallica album with the San Francisco Symphony Orchestra. It has a whole set case and everything like that. Prints, photo books. It's all in this one complete thing. So I think it's going to be kind of expensive, but it'd be worth it for him. So I'll get that to him, and I promise him that. So I need to go.
But you won, though, so you shouldn't have to get him that. Or are you just doing it to be a good sport?
I'm just doing it to be a good sport to motivate him more. He lost the bet with Brandon Culpepper Sr., but we're adding another one so he doesn't feel so bad. So he has goals, but he has, I'm going to put a poll. If anyone goes back, please put on Facebook. Do you think Brad should have 3 strikes and out, meaning if he throws up 3 times, he's done, or 1 done? So, that's more added onto the table. But I think 3 strikes is out because people have a tough time just drinking 2% milk straight or whole milk or chocolate milk straight. And he has to drink, basically he's drinking cake batter. With eggnog. He's basically drinking cake batter. And I don't know. I mean, I think this has been perfect if we made him drink eggnog in the summertime. But
that would have been rough.
That'd be terrible. But you know what? It is, December 22nd. And then hopefully we'll get some cool the week beforehand, just to let everyone know. So next week, hopefully Aaron will be on. Aaron Cromer is going to be on probably next week. So hopefully if his schedule goes out, we're going to have him next week for the interview. But the week beforehand, the week after, eggnog. And then hopefully the week after that, we'll have some cool guests that did some jongs on monster trucks and stuff like that. So hopefully that comes to fruition. Scott Bryan says 3 strikes for sure. So we got 1 for the 3 strikes. What do you think, Kurt? Do you think 1 and done, or you should do 3 strikes to be? Lenny says 1.
I say 1 and done. Yeah. Don't make your viewers sit through 3 times of that. You might not have any viewers left after that.
Kurt, what would you say?
I don't know. Lenny makes a good point. He does, but you want to make it a special event, so that beckons to have him at least try it twice. Against my better judgment, like I said, I really side with Lenny here. I think it's got to be 3 strikes, though. But Lenny makes a good point, and I agree with it. But I mean, but you got to keep it fun. If he's really getting sick, just cut it. But yeah, if he could try and do 3, that'd be great.
If he's smart enough, he should pace himself.
Yeah,
because it's an hour. He has to drink. It's not just chugging it. He has to drink a gallon of eggnog within an hour. Mm-hmm. So, just to be fair, if he drank it straight, oh my gosh, I would have the EMTs in the back of the video. And it'll be life support. I think we'd probably lose Brad that day. So I don't want to lose Brad that day.
Then Kenny, I mean, I'm sure you guys didn't get this technical, but he could cut it with water. You can have a glass of water beside him, right? He doesn't have to drink it one after another, right? I mean, he could take in some water between swigs, can he?
Hello?
I don't know. Yeah, if he could drink water in between or not.
Yeah. I think also, Eric, was saying once he pukes, he can't see how his stomach would handle anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So right now we got three one and dones. I think Kurt was one and doneer, but we got two strikes. To be fair, if I say that if like I said with the rules, if it's gonna be an hour and it takes them an hour to drink a gallon of eggnog, I would prefer one and done because 3 strikes would be, I don't know. It would take them an hour to drink that stuff. So a lot of people are saying one and done. 3 hurls. We got 3 hurls. There's a lot of topics going on right here, folks. But we'll get the final count. But we'll get like special videos and stuff like that. I'm just gonna make this a big extravaganza for Christmas, and Brad's gonna be like, "What the heck?" But who cares?
Yeah.
It's fun. It's a good time.
Yep.
But the last question in the podcast itself, your favorite pie?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I mean, I'm a big guy. Probably go with apple pie.
Apple's number one choice.
But I'll eat just about all of them. I heard you guys last week kind of run through that list of the rankings. One of my other kind of hobbies I've gotten into since I've been out of the monster truck stuff, bought us a smoker here and tried smoking different stuff. And for Thanksgiving, 2 weeks ago, actually made a smoked caramel apple pie and a smoked cherry pie. They turned out pretty good. So
you can do smoked pies.
Yep, we do just about everything on it. I've got a pellet smoker here. We do pizzas on it, all your normal meats and stuff, brisket and pork and all that. But we do pizzas on it, vegetables, a little bit of everything. Which the pie question leads me to a good piece of advice I got from one of the true legends of monster trucks. Just that stuff you learn out on the road. I was with Jim Kramer and his wife Julie and Alan and I. I was down at the first event that Chandler Lloyd with the old school motorsport stuff was putting on. They had Everett Jasmer was there with the 88 USA 1, and Kramer had brought down Bigfoot 1. Bob came down and everything, and me and Alan and Jim and Julie went to lunch, and you kind of grab food when you can. You guys know when you're out on the road, and went to like a Golden Corral or some type of buffet restaurant like that. And Jim said, when you're eating like this and you need to eat like crazy, make sure you get enough for the day. Well, they've got all the good desserts and stuff. Well, he said he walked over to the dessert and grabbed him a piece of pie and some ice cream and everything before he even started eating. He goes, the desserts and everything look so good. You just need to make sure you got room and eat them first and then just go eat your dinner after that. So that was always a joke, seeing Jim on the road and stuff over the years after that. And he goes, make sure you eat your dessert first before everything else. Don't worry about what your mama taught you and everything. You eat your dessert first, so you make sure you got room for it.
We got a few more questions from the fans.
Sure.
We'll go ahead and answer that before we get off here. And another one from John Fitzgerald said, if you had your own truck, do you have an idea for a name to run?
I don't have the idea for the name. That type of the creative stuff of it never was one of my kind of expertise areas. I've always thought about it over the years. Components wise, I've got a pretty good idea in my mind of what I would do if I was to build a truck of my own. Just with all the different stuff we tried and ran over the years. And like I mentioned earlier, watching other people's stuff, there's no doubt it'd have a Hemi in it. Allen's lightweight 2-piece wheels, the chassis out there, there's phenomenal designs that guys are running nowadays. But as far as an actual name and identity, really never thought that far about what that would end up being. The old square body Chevys are real cool looking. I'm still a Dodge guy. The Mopar stuff, like I said, it definitely have a Hemi in it. Square body Dodge, not many people have done that over the years. Some kind of just cool, clean, old school, almost looking, just clean truck. Something like Donald with the Titan truck when he first brought that out. It was just, it had the flames and stuff down it, but that was just a clean, almost old school looking truck. There was a gentleman out of Oklahoma. I think his name forgive me, I can't remember his name. I believe it was John White. Had built several trucks over the years. We sold him a bunch of wheels and different parts over the years. And I think his original truck was called Brute Force, and it was just whatever the current new Chevrolet truck body was at the time. It was just a solid kind of burnt orange looking color, and it was different. Everyone was going to wraps and stuff at the time, and all the kind of elaborate designs and everything, and something just clean and straight lines and everything that it almost stood out as something different because it was different from everyone in the pack at the time.
Nice. And then Richie Kaiser said we owe a lot to Lenny for his time putting on Colton's truck.
Well, I appreciate that. Richie's always given me a lot of credit towards everything we did to build that truck, and definitely appreciate it. Yet again, another great family that I got to meet over the years in this industry. I was very blessed to meet some amazing people through the years that consider family and almost as close as friends. I always kind of throw that idea around in my mind of when actual retirement comes down the road, of maybe buying a camper or a toy hauler or something, throwing the Razor in, hooking it onto a truck or something, and sort of traveling around the country like I did back when I did the monster truck stuff, and kind of reconnecting with some of those people and stuff. Just something kind of has always gone through my mind over the years of doing down the road.
Yeah, Ed Ecker here saying, what's up? What's going on?
Ed, another great, awesome friend from Michigan originally too. Like Alan we've migrated him down here to Tennessee as well. We did those Michigan monster truck shootout shows for Larry Hatt, Dan Johnson, and them all those years. Back when I was still just a young kid, would drive up there in the summers when I could to running shows every year, doing 15 something shows a summer up there, 3-4 different fairs a week, 50, 100, 150 miles apart. And Ed was a big part of that over the years. Actually got to be teammates with Ed. One of the last shows was actually the last Monster Jam show I ever did down in Huntsville, Alabama. The driver of ours that was supposed to come down with me for the weekend got sick or had some family issues or something come up, and we were last minute and needed a driver, and called Ed, and Ed actually came down and ran the Pouncer truck for me that weekend, and had a blast getting to run with Ed as my teammate that weekend. And I think we kind of converted him a little bit over from his old design, that parent truck that he had with the leaf springs and everything in it. And it wasn't too much longer after that Ed bought that chassis from Eddie and put together his new truck. And I haven't gotten a chance to see it in person yet, but from everything I've seen watching it on the internet and everything, Ed's put together an awesome piece again, and glad to see him being successful still in the industry.
He said ice cream.
Ice cream, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's a Mike Pizzo thing. Alan's dad, Mike, was with us on the road pretty much constantly, and we could be in the middle of tearing apart a motor, a major repair, anything. And Ed will attest to it too. 3 o'clock in the afternoon came, you're at a county fair. That was Uncle Mike's ice cream time, and we would all drop whatever we were doing and go grab us some ice cream, kind of relax for a little bit, and come right back to what we were doing. And it's that fun things like that I touched on earlier, that family atmosphere in this industry that you don't get in many other places.
Man, it's awesome to hear. Any other questions for Lenny there, Kurt?
Do you have any good Pizzo stories?
Oh, there's plenty of them over the years. My favorite stuff with him was just all the different stuff he wanted to try. A lot of it worked, some of it didn't. Was always trying to be innovative and didn't always get the credit that he deserved. Was a lot of first in the industry that Alan tried. So like I said, some of them worked, some of them didn't, and was always trying to do his part to better his own equipment as well as everyone else in the industry, selling parts to them. He took a lot of pride, and y'all might be able to get Alan on here someday, and he'll tell you the same thing. He took a lot of pride of doing as much as he could in-house. We built chassis, shocks, wheels, axle housings, you name it, motors, everything. We built as much as we could in-house, and then put that stuff out to the market for the rest of the people in the industry to use. And he took a lot of pride in that other people out there saw what he would build and be able to use it on their own trucks. All kinds of fun stuff over the years. We did different stuff out on the road. It was a lot of fun. Like I said, towards the end, I was just getting to the point where I was burned out. It was time to step back and take a little break, but had some amazing times over the years with him.
Ed said that also. You said you you didn't get enough credit either. That Ed saying you did a great job also.
Oh yeah, and I appreciate that. And Noah did. Was given a lot of responsibility at a young age. You guys and everyone else out there, you think of how much equipment's sitting there in a tractor trailer with 2 full race trucks, spare parts, everything, and was given that responsibility to go out and run that rig for Alan for many years. I joke with a lot. Got a CDL still do some deliveries here and there at the Rock Yard now where I work, and a lot of the younger guys, and I joke about it to them. I turned 21. I had my CDL permit where I could drive here in Tennessee where we lived at 18, but I was more excited on my 21st birthday to go take my road test so I can go out on the road on my own than I was to go out drinking or something on my 21st birthday. And that was my life from the time I was 15, 16 years old till just after my 30th birthday. It was 7 days a week, 24/7 monster trucks, and wouldn't change that for the world. Like I said, I did get burned out a little bit towards the end, but I was very fortunate for all the opportunities that Alan gave me over the years to be able to do what I did for as long as I did.
That's awesome.
Nice. Well, Lenny, thank you so much for being on.
Thanks for having me on. Sorry about our internet issues.
Okay, no problem.
Very fortunate to live out here, kind of out in the country, outside of Nashville now, and our internet out here is not the greatest. So swapped over to the cell phone there, and it seemed to work pretty well throughout the rest of the night, and had a blast. Thank you guys very much for having me on, and you ever want to do it again, I'd be more than happy to come on and talk monster trucks again.
We'll probably have you on Brad's Extravaganza, so maybe
Sure.
you'll be the expert of the eggnog side of it for Team Eggnog.
Yeah. Be part of that. That'll be cool.
I'd be happy to come back for it. We might, all the guests might have to take a little swig of eggnog just to kind of cheer him on as he's going, give him some moral support and keep him going. I don't know if I can do a whole gallon, but we'll do our best.
No problem there, man. Well, thank you for being on, and thank you so much. Once again, thank you, High Octane Coffee, Joey Sylvester. Get your coffee gear for him right now. I'm scratching my eyeball while giving him thanks.
Yeah. One more shout. I'd like to say thank you to all my fans. I posted all over social media. My family members and friends out there that supported me all over the years. Great to see all these questions from everyone that came on. And thank you very much from the bottom of my heart to all of my fans and family members and friends that tuned in tonight to kind of see a little glimpse back into memory lane of what Monster Trucks was for me.
Nice. Yes. Thank you so much for everyone to watch. Also, thank you for being on. Also, thank you, Kurt, for stepping in again, pitch hitting for Brad, and me when I was a little bit down on the weather too. Thank you for doing that. And once again, thank you to the sponsors, the people that help us out, Joey Sylvester and High Octane Coffee. Also J Concepts, the new USA 1 decals have came out. Take a look at that stuff. Back Channel Productions, they do the Renegade Monster Truck Tour, some of the special events. So take a look at that. 6B Apparel, my crew shirts that we have. Go ahead, message me or Brad. $100 a pop. They will make it to you and send it out to you. So it's just pretty cool. Marty Garza, have you read that book yet, Lenny?
I haven't. That's maybe Santa will bring it for Christmas this year. Kind of seen the little snippets and stuff that they put out there on the internet of it. And I know Scott Bryant and Marty both have put a lot of hard years of work and research into that book of showing what the true history of this industry is and where parts came from and the different parts that guys chose and used over the years. And definitely on my list of things to read. And like I said, maybe Santa will kind of put that in my stocking this year.
Hint, hint. Wink, wink.
Yes.
Also, once again, Bradley Shaw and JB Scale Graphics, which is officially licensed Bigfoot, Obsessed, Against the Grain, Bad Habit, Heavy Hitter, and others. Go ahead and take a look at that if you want a decal on your monster truck and stuff like that. But once again, folks, thank you for being on. This was a good episode. So I guess what Brad always says is keep the shiny side up and the rubber side down. Next week's episode, hopefully, will be Aaron Cromer from Anger Management and a few other trucks he's run, but he was mostly popular driving the anger management for Rick Rabb over there with American Guardian. So once again, guys, thank you so much. Take care and good night.
See ya.